Hi, this is Tim Fargo, and this is episode number 3 of the Social Media Success Series. In episode 2, your homework assignment was to pull together 10 pieces of content that would be helpful to your audience, right? So, as I mentioned, like if you were did podcast services where you were kind of the sound engineer for podcasters or whatever, you might be assembling things about how to get a better rank for your podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud, or better interviewing techniques. Any variety of things that would be helpful to just podcasters in general to give them a reason to keep coming by and see you, right? So. Now, assuming you've got that done, I'm going to dive in here and I'm going to go to my blog posts. And this is in my social jukebox system, just because it's where I have my content. So we'll go into here and just want to show you, here's some of my content. And this is my live system. Okay, this is not a demo system. This is my system. And the next step in all this is to develop headlines and graphics related to what you're going to share. And great content is a super important, that's the first step, and that's the fundamental piece. Without it, you really can't go much further. However, you've got to, that content is worthless unless somebody looks at it or listens to it, etc. So in order to do that, what you're going to need to do is write a compelling headline related to that particular piece of content. And let's just take the first blog post that I have here. And I title the articles, and I like to use a title that I can use as a headline, etc. Right? So Calculating Clowns, How an Idiot with a Spreadsheet Can Kill a Business. I picked that because it's somewhat provocative and gives people at least some idea of, what's going to be in there. But, like I say, it's provocative enough. I used a photo of a clown, which is kind of ties into the article. And let's go to the second one I've got here, Entrepreneur Evolution, Adapt or Die. And I'm using some hashtags, which is also very important. We can get into that in a later episode. But, and here I've got a woolly mammoth, which didn't adapt and is now dead. So I'm using titles that are somewhat provocative, provide some insight as to what the article is going to be about. And then that's how I share those out onto social media. And that's going to be the next step of your assignment. I mean, this is going to be really quick, right? What you need to do if you want, let's say, for instance, if you don't want to just pick a photo that goes with it, let's say you actually want to create a meme which has some text on it, you can go to quotecovers.com. That's one of the ones I use, and if you just type in quote covers, into a Google search, you'll come up with a variety of tools that do this. So you can come up with your graphic image, come up with a headline, and that's going to be your next assignment. Because you've got, as we go through here, right, let's take it from the first episode was about having a goal and having that audience in mind. And then 2 was coming up with content, relevant content for that audience. Now we're going to come up with ways to draw people to that content when we put it through on social media. And the other thing I'll throw in here as a bonus assignment, and that is to come up with some hashtags, research some hashtags that would be relevant for your industry, right? So if you're going to post it, like you want to help people with startups, you could use hashtag startups, or if you do podcasts, you could be hashtag podcasts, so that you can include those, in particular on Facebook and Twitter. Hashtags are a relevant way that people will search for content. So there's your assignment, basically 3 things. Again, come up with headlines for your the content you've selected, how you're going to headline that in a post. The second piece is an image or a meme. The image you could just locate, the meme you would create using like quote cover as I mentioned. And then finally, coming up with some hashtags that you're going to be able to add to the post. And of course, if it's on Twitter, it's going to need to be able to fit in the 140 character limitation. Probably not such a problem on Facebook. But come up with those, and then we're going to get together again, and then we're going to talk about how we distribute this content and then creating some content mix, and that's going to be episode 4. Okay? Thanks again. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach me at tim@socialjukebox.com. Have an awesome day.